I'm so glad you could join me tonight for Tune In Tuesday. Every second and fourth Tuesday of the month, I'm going to come to you on my YouTube channel with a free class. Now, I do have a special offer for those of you who need supplies, whether it be to make the cards I'm going to show you tonight or something else you're working on. So you can find those details at the end of this video. But for now, enjoy these projects. If you've been around my channel for any length of time, you know that I love a clean white card for Christmas. And this one fits the bill, and it's pretty easy to make with our embossing folders and some designer series paper. This card has a wow factor because of the embossing. There's barely any stamping. One here and something on the inside for a greeting. But mostly this gets its charm from the embossing. And the embossing comes from two folders. One is the Merry Melody 3D embossing folder, which puts the song Joy to the World on your cardstock. There are no words, it's just the music notes. And then there's the Merriest Frames. And Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder comes in two parts, as we saw in my last class. If you didn't check that one out, go ahead and I will link back to it in the description. It comes with this outline that fits right in here. And I felt it go into place. And when you run this through the embossing folder, you will cut and emboss this layer right here. Let's go ahead and do that. You'll feel this pop into the groove. And then you'll lay on your piece of cardstock. Now this barely fits in here. So with the dies, the cutting edge is on the inside. As long as your paper does not show one of the cutting edges, the whole thing will come out of there. You can see that the silver piece over here edges off the side a little bit and down here, but again, the cutting edge did not. Bring in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, because this is a thick folder, we are going to use a number 1 plate, our folder with die and cardstock in it, and then the number 4 plate. While I'm here, I'm going to emboss my other piece. I'm going to bring in my Merriest Melody embossing folder, and this is a piece of cardstock that measures 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. Just figure out where I want that embossing to be. There are some places on here where there are more notes and some where there's less. You just find the spot that suits you. And again, we're using the same sandwich. We'll run that through. Now, if you have the Merriest Moments stamp set that coordinates with the hybrid folder, then you can add some of the decorative components to this. I did not. I used the Boughs of Holly or Leaves of Holly designer series paper. Bring in a piece of thick basic white that measured 5.5 by 8.5, and that was scored at the 4 1/4 mark and folded and burnished in half. Bring in my folder here, and you can decide which way is up. I think I'll do it differently than I did on the last one. We need to attach this with some dimensionals. We're going to bring in some dimensionals and put that in the corners here. And then one in the middle to help support the middle. And let's see, I think we'll do it this way. Now pay attention when you are mounting this. You want this edge to be parallel to the bottom and top of the card. And you want to make sure your leaves don't stick over the edges at all. There we go. And we will bring in our embossed Joy to the World. Now here's a little tip on knowing which side is up if you are not generally a music person. When you look at the little dots that are in here, let me see if I can come closer. There are some dots following some of the notes. Those go on the right of the note. Bring in my Stampin' Seal, and that's going to fit nicely right in here. Just adds a little bit of texture to that center part. You could obviously also stamp a greeting in there, but I've got different plans. Now I need to do a little bit of stamping. I need to take a 1/2 inch, I think this is 1/2 by 2 3/4 inch of basic white cardstock. Again, I really like the white on white look. I'm bringing in my Real Red. And stamping Merry Christmas. And before I can, well, I guess I could attach this right now, but I am going to wait a little bit. It's going to go right there, but I need a flower. Bringing in the Leaves of Holly Designer Series paper. Oh, sorry, it is Boughs of Holly. I think it's Leaves of Holly, that's the sweet name. You can see all sorts of gorgeous designs in here. Some trees and some, this is a beautiful paper. Some pretty stripes on the background. But we are going to concentrate on this sheet of paper right here. And I'm going to find a flower to cut out. Let's see. All right, here's one right near the edge that's complete. My first cut is usually to just get rid of the bulk of the paper. And then I'll fussy cut. Let's speed this up so you don't have to watch me cut. It doesn't take a ton of time, but it is the most time-consuming part of this card. Again, if you had the Leaves of Holly Suite, you could stamp and die cut much quicker. There. By far the worst part is these berries. And notice I'm a little sloppy here, but it's okay because it's going to be white on white. You're not going to be able to tell. Let's bring in our card base back here. We will decide how we want this arranged, whether we want this to go down here or if we want it to go up here. I do like it best down here, but of course you could make it a card that goes this way, especially if you had a greeting. You just want to make sure you're embossing it properly if you do that. Let's bring in some small dimensionals Actually, the bigger ones will fit on this. We're all set. And if I bring this in here, this will tuck underneath. I may have to trim that right edge just a little bit and put some dimensionals on the back of this piece as well. I think I need to move it up a little bit. And there we go. There's the front of our card. Now we just need to stamp a greeting on the inside. If you want to bling this up a little bit, you could use the red rhinestone basic jewels, or you could use the rhinestone basic jewels for a clear look, which is probably the look that I would go for. But I also like it just clean and simple like this. If you notice on this designer series paper, these two edges have flowers that are incomplete. So I wouldn't be able to cut them out like I did and add to the card. I can use these all that are in the middle, but these edges I cannot, unless I want to just do a partial one. And I guess I could show you that, but let me just cut this off and show you what I'm talking about in a second. I just cut a little strip, half-inch strip off here, and I added it to the bottom of my card. That's the quick and easy way. And then we just bring in a greeting. And let's see, I have lots of greetings to choose from. One of my favorites is this, "May this be a Christmas to remember and cherish." But this Hope and Peace set has a lot of Christian sentiments in it. And then this Framed and Festive has some just generic Christmas ones as well. I think the font on this is a little too whimsical for my delicate card. So I would either go with Hope and Peace or Christmas to Remember, and I'm going to go with Christmas to Remember. It is probably my favorite Christmas sentiment set. Let's bring in a stamp. Real red pad again. And there's our card. Now, what was I talking about with this? Well, if we cut around this edge, we're going to leave the incomplete part nice and square. That's going to go in a corner. This is a great way to use some of those edge pieces, because the paper is too beautiful not to use as much of it as possible. And then what I could do is put this down here in a corner. So it just gives this a little bit more dimension. And I could do that. Let's just pretend that this were the inside corner. It could just be that corner by itself. You don't have to have another strip. If I had another strip, I might just go with the back side. That is this kind of birch tree look, I think. I could layer that on. That would look pretty as well. But this is the quickest way. And so there is our Christmas card. For this card, we're going to be using part of the Sweetest Christmas Suite. We'll be using the Sweet Candy Canes Cling Stamp Set. We'll use the Mistletoe Sprig, the Candy Cane Wishes and Mistletoe Kisses stamp, and then we'll choose a stamp for the inside. We could use one of the candy canes and stamp, but I'm going to instead use a candy cane from this paper. And this paper goes with the suite. It is called Sweetest Christmas. And it has a lot of the striped designs. We've got a bunch of candy canes, make cute little backgrounds. Some just either sweet sorbet or real red or garden green designs. More stripes. But it also features this candy cane sheet. And you can die cut those using your candy cane dies. You have a die that faces left and you have a die that faces right because some of the candy canes face the opposite direction. I'm not going to be using this to die cut a candy cane. In fact, I've already fussy cut one because I don't want any border at all. I want to cut out a layer that goes with this candy cane. So if I do that with the candy cane and I cut right up to the candy cane on this striped sheet, then I'll have a nice little border. Let's go ahead and set this aside. I'm beginning with my stamping and my die cutting. So I've already fussy cut this, as I said. I need to die cut this. I will also need to die cut a little sprig of holly. So we'll need to stamp that, and the ink I'll be using would be garden green because that is what coordinates with this. And it's right in front of me, and I just stuck my finger in it. Go me. I have my stamp already mounted. And this is a cling set, so it is it's not photopolymer. There we have that. I think I do need my greeting as well. And I think I said I was going to use candy cane wishes and mistletoe kisses. It's smartest to go ahead and I'm going to pick a smaller block. You want to, I could use a smaller block than this, but it's busy at the moment. You will want to definitely stamp on this before you die cut. Hopefully that's going to be perfect for my die cut. I'm trying to use up some scraps here. So let's go ahead and bring in one more die that we needed. We needed this right here, and this is going to be a ribbon slide. We're going to die cut all of these pieces. Let's move this out of the way and bring in our die cut machine. We're die cutting, so we will need a number 1 plate, a number 2 plate, a number 3 plate. Then we need our real red cardstock. We'll need to line this up the way we want it, with my sentiment right in the middle. That looks pretty good. And then we want to put my mistletoe down. And in my last Tune In Tuesday class, I shared with you that you should be able to see the stem through this little hole. And I can, so that means it should be lined up to cut it out perfectly. I just moved it though. So let me just fix that. I should probably be using washi tape or Post-it, but let's live on the edge, shall we? Okay. Taking our pieces out. And I'm not sure if you had noticed in the catalog, I'll get that out in just a second, but this is not only going to fit ribbon, it also will fit a candy cane, which makes for a cute little gift. Let me just show you that in this catalog here. It's on the next page. So they threaded the candy cane through those holes, which gave it a nice little arch. Had a little mistletoe sprig and a little jingle bell charm and a piece of ribbon. And what a cute little gift. But that's not what we're doing right now. All right, so now that I've got that done, I want to bring in my garden green piece. And we are going to be stamping on this. All right, so here I have my garden green piece. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my garden green ink again. And that mistletoe piece. Just going to randomly, and I say randomly, it's not really randomly because I am purposely changing up the orientation as I stamp. Just keep inking and stamping until you get it the way you'd like it. There we go. I think that's good. I'd cut a piece of this design. It's the one that has the polka dots on the back. Now, it's interesting. I don't usually mix my reds, but they did here. They've used Sweet Sorbet and they've used Real Red. So that's why I chose a Sweet Sorbet base. Because why not? Sweet Sorbet is one of this year's in colors. So this is going to line up just like that. So I want to adhere this piece on here. And I don't want to adhere it to the card base yet. I just want to adhere these two, but I have to line it up to know really where I want to go ahead and attach this. I have cut this to be 2.5 inches wide so that there will be a 1/2 inch overlap. So now we just need to bring in some tape runner or glue, whichever one you want. I just happen to grab my Seal Plus. That'll be really sticky, so I want to make sure when I get it down, it is where I want it to be. There won't be much wiggle room. I should have probably used my Stampin', my green glue. So I'm just paying attention here, and that looks like it's going to be good. So now I've got these two attached to each other. I need to add a piece of ribbon, and so this is the Real Red ribbon that comes in a 2-pack with the garden green, also part of this suite. We're going to thread this underneath here and then back out the front, making sure we don't twist it in the back. You can decide where you'll want this slide to be on here. We're not going to attach it down. We're just going to attach our ribbon. Let's go ahead. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back here. That's going to be what my ribbon attaches to. I think I want this. Remember, I'm going to be able to slide that without a problem and get it where I want it to be. All right, so there I have my ribbon on and my slide is on. I'm going to let this go for right now and be, I don't need it to be stationary because you have 2 candy canes in your card kit. If you choose to place an order of $35 or more today, the card kit will come with 2 candy canes in it. One will be facing left and one will be facing right. Now I know that this one is facing left, so I might put it in over here. But having this not hooked down means that I can figure out what balance I want on my card as I go along. So that's why I haven't done that yet. I can adhere this now, though, to the card base. Okay, so I have this now adhered down. You can see this still slides. You can choose to tack that down, but wait until you figure out how your candy cane goes. I'm going to take some, I could take some tape runner if I want to, but glue is probably going to be the easiest for me here because I do want to have a little wiggle room to make sure it gets lined up as nicely as possible. And I find that if I pick it up in the air, then I seem to be able to manipulate it a little bit better. So that's pretty good. You can look ahead of time to see how your fussy cutting was. Mine's not perfect, but it's going to be okay. So you can see that just by fussy cutting it a little bit, it helps it stick out on this background. My other sample, let's see if I can find my other sample, just used the red and white candy cane. Here it is. And so that stuck out a little bit more. But I'm just going to figure out how I want that to stay in here. And then I need to decorate. So one of the decorations is this little piece right here. That helps it stick out from the back a little bit. Some dimensionals will help it stick up off a little bit as well. I'm gonna cut up some of these edges of my mini dimensionals. I'm gonna just stick this on the back of here. And I think, figure out where I want that. I think I want that right just like that. So there we go. If you would like to adhere this down, you can certainly do that. Just a little bit of glue in there. That'll stick that right there. And now it's not going to move. I can take my little piece of greenery here. That back in here. There we go. If you wanted to cut more, you could, obviously. Let's see, do we want this to come off the page a little bit? I don't think so. I think I like it just being stuck down the way it is. Oops, got a little bit messy. Here we go. And now we are going to use some of our adhesive backed sequins. So these look like they're little pieces, but they actually come in a bigger package. They come in a package that looks like this. So you get 4 different colors. You get a white or silver, I can't quite tell what it is, a gold, a green that's kind of like a garden green, and then a sweet sorbet color. And they're the adhesive backed seasonal sequins. So you get 200 of them, so it's 50 of each color. 25 large ones and 25 small ones of each color. And so then you just go to town decorating however you would like. I think I'm going to try to tie in the sweet sorbet a little bit more. So we'll put one there, and maybe I'll choose a small green. I don't know that I would call that really garden green, but let's choose a gold one maybe to come up here. Do we want to put it on there or just right up here? Right up there, I think. Just something to add a little bit of bling. And so there is the front of our card. To decorate the inside, just going to put a piece of basic white in there. I've got a piece that measures 4 by 5 1/4. Going to just put that in there. Get a little bit of Seal Plus is coming off the track. There we go. Oh, I should have stamped first, shouldn't I? I'm getting a little cocky, I guess. It probably won't come out right now because of that. Well, hopefully it won't go to waste. So what sentiment do we want on here? We've got wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always, or may the good times of today become the cherished memories of tomorrow. Let's go with wishing you lots of love. And I'm only choosing that one probably because the rest of the set is a little bit whimsical. You know, this card is kind of whimsical in nature. So we'll add a little bit of a more serious touch here. And let's go ahead and put on some mistletoe sprig again. And there's the inside of our card. Pretty quick and easy. Let me show you how this die works. So it obviously puts some stripes in there. I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white cardstock. Bring in my cutting plates, 1 and 2 again, and 3. This is a piece of 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to line this up as centered on there as I can be. Now remember, when you're putting something with a nice straight edge through the machine, you don't want to put it through parallel to the rollers. So let's put this on its side a little bit, and then I'm going to straighten it back out. Let's see here. The glare is getting to me. All right, that's pretty good. I'm gonna put this over the top. So you didn't hear any big bangs. But if you hear those big bangs, it's because you're putting a very hard edge through instead of just a point. And so see what this does? Cuts out a lot of little strips, which you could use on something else, I might add, to decorate. I'm gonna put those aside. And then we can pull in a piece of our paper here. And let's see if we can line this up here. So you can see that if you adhere this over the top here, you get that. It's a different look than it is with the 3 stripes. You could pull in this beautiful glimmer paper. Comes in white or red. Let's look at the red because we've used the white. And look at how pretty that is. Just like that. Let's do something with this. I'm gonna cut a piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So you're still gonna have a little bit of this to decorate the inside or to cut holly berries from. Then we have this. And because of all that shimmer, you do not want to do much with this in particular. I'm going to go ahead and put in some glue on those wider stripes. Just a thin layer. Sorry, I'm probably getting off the camera. Just adding some glue around here. Definitely want to go to the edges. You could cut this a little bit larger. You could have a square that begins as 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. I should be using my silicone mat, and I would be if I knew where it was. My craft area right now is kind of a mess. I'm getting ready for a convention, a little Stampin' Up! Event in Montreal that I did not think I was going to be able to go to. So there we have that. Can you all see just how pretty that is? Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. So let's adhere this to a thick basic white base. There we go. I probably, if I did this again, because I'm doing this for the first time on camera, I would cut my base white to be a little bit larger. I would make it 4 and whatever I said before, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I would keep my sparkly piece to be 4 by 5 1/4, just so it's a little bit smaller so you don't have anything peeking out. But honestly, it's all dazzling so much, nobody's really going to pay attention or care probably. So now what are we going to do to decorate this? Let's bring in a piece of basic white. I'm going to use this Merry and Bright stamp. If I can get it out of the case. I haven't used it yet, so it's stuck down there pretty well. Bring in a block. I'm going to stick with the red and white theme here. It's a lot of red and white. There's Merry and Bright. And let's see, we can cut that down a bit, or we could leave that kind of like that, peeking over. Let's see how that looks. Oh yes, I think I kind of like it peeking over. So that's something a little different. Usually we have our layers kind of uniform, or at least I do. I think I like this. No, I think I do like it. I'll put the measurements in the tutorial as well, but they are, I know that the red piece is 1.5 inches wide, so I believe this white piece is 1 inch in width. And I can go ahead and bring in my ruler to tell you. So the red piece is 1.5 by 3 3/8. And the basic white piece is 1 inch by 3 3/4. And now we just need to pop that up with some dimensionals. Might as well finish using up my edges here. And sometimes they want to give me a little problems on the edge coming off. I got green ink, red ink everywhere. I guess I'm ready for Christmas. All right. Merry and Bright, and it certainly is Merry and Bright. And we can just stamp something coordinating inside. Let's go with the, now if this were a card I were going to give on Christmas, I would probably say, may the good times of today become the cherished memories of tomorrow. Even though I know today could be, you know, this kind of present time we're in whenever I give it. But I think I will go with the wishing lots of love and happiness. Let's bring in my real red stamp pad again. You know what's great if you have more of that glimmer paper left over after Christmas? Valentine's Day is coming up. And let's see, maybe, you know what, this might be a good time to go ahead and put a candy cane in there. Let's put a candy cane in there. Kind of mimics the front. There we go. Quick and simple card. The die did most of the work for us. We're going to create a very quick and easy gift card holder out of these North Pole sacks. These North Pole sacks come in a package of 12. It's item number 162416, which was an online only release. And it was released to coordinate with the Paper Pumpkin October Kit, Ho Ho Ho, which had a Santa theme to it. And you can see they've got a sample of the North Pole add-on sacks right here. They come $4 for a package of 12. And I'm gonna take one out. To create a gift card holder or pouch, I'm gonna flip it over and you're going to fold it up so that the back side is about 4 inches this way. Let's see how close I came. Wow, 4 inches, just about on the dot, just a hair off, but I just eyeballed it. You can too. I'm gonna bring in some Evening Evergreen open weave ribbon, and you'll need about 20 inches of this. Let me just make a quick measurement here of 20 inches. If you like tying from the bolt and not cutting in advance, of course you can do that. With the card kit, you will get one of these projects for free with your $35 order purchase. I'll have it pre-cut for you, obviously. And let's see if we can just adjust this bow. Oh, that's looking pretty good. All right, there's my little bow, and you can have the ends as long or as short as you'd like them. All right, now this bow can come off pretty easily, so I'm gonna take a glue dot. This is a leftover glue dot from a Paper Pumpkin kit. The Paper Pumpkin kits are all inclusive. It's this subscription kit that comes to your door. You can subscribe or you can purchase one monthly. Now it's not gonna go anywhere. It's tacked down. All right, let's decorate the inside of this. I have a piece of Evening Evergreen cardstock that measures 3.5 by 3.25. And this is gonna go underneath this flap. It's gonna go in here. Now it doesn't go all the way down. I mean, it can, but I don't want it to because I want it to show a nice area in here. Here's why I didn't cut it 3.5 by 3.5. Let me bring in my embossing folder and machine. All right. Number 1 plate. I'm going to be using this little folder here, which is part of the Wintry 3D embossing folder item. It comes with another small one as well. This is snowflakes, but this one is Christmas tree boughs, fir boughs. And you notice it's a little one, so this one will fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but it just fits this 3¼ inch wide piece. Now when I did this with my team, I had a 3½ by 3½, and so 1/2 inch was not embossed, and that was part of what we hid. But to conserve paper, I just cut it the proper width. Fold goes through the machine first. So then we've just got some nice little texture on here. Let's move this out of the way. Believe it or not, we're almost done. We need to adhere this on the inside of the card. So we want the wide part going this way. Let's bring in some green glue. Green tip glue. It's not really green glue. Just going to glue that down to the inside. I want to make sure I have a nice uniform border here on the top and both edges. There we go. That's stuck down pretty well now. Now we need something to go inside because you'll be giving it to someone and probably writing a note, but that's how it will fit inside. This will not get adhered down. I'm going to pull in my Christmas banners set and use the Just For You stamp. I don't think I'm going to use a banner with it. I'll just use the Just For You and maybe this little, I think that's a fir bough. Bring in Evening Evergreen ink. And Just For You. Need to bring in a piece of scrap paper to protect my surface. I'm going to take this and just stamp right around the top of this. There we go. Well, maybe another one a little bit right over here at the edge. Okay, so that looks just like that. You'll write your note in here, and when you're writing your note, if you don't want what you've written showing, you'll just have to write it below this mark. Or you could put somebody's name here. Lots of options. And then all you need is a little gift card to stick right here in this front little pocket. So isn't that just a cute little way to present a gift card? Gift cards don't have to be impersonal. Make the packaging personal and special, and the person receiving it will feel extra special. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's projects. I have a special offer for those who place an order of $35 or more before shipping and handling and tax in my online store between now and November 13th. If you place that qualifying order using the host code, and the link to my store with the host code populated is in the description of this video, then I will send you a free card kit. This card kit contains enough supplies, consumable supplies, to create 2 of each of the cards that I created tonight and 1 of the gift card holders. In addition, if you place an order of $60 or more before shipping and handling and tax, I will send you the card kit as well as a package of the adhesive-backed seasonal sequins. Those are the ones that I used on one of the cards tonight. Don't forget, you must use the host code. The current host code is displayed here, but again, the link to my online store with that host code populated already is in the description of this video. Once again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you will plan to tune in on November 22nd for my next Tune In Tuesday. I'm going to be creating 5 in a flash. So it's a one-sheet wonder technique where you can create 5 cards out of one single stamped sheet of cardstock, plus the bases, of course. I hope you'll join me. I have an extra surprise in that I'm offering that class in person as well on the Saturday following Thanksgiving. So check your emails and you'll have more information about that as we come closer.